not be the most interesting stream in the world. This is more of a records stream where I'm going to try some things that I haven't done before, and see how they go. And then hopefully I'm going to try to keep some type of track of the stuff that was done and maybe use it. So I'm seeing a lot of people trying to get their stuff um, set up in Unreal Engine, and I have GitHub that I'll keep mentioning every single time, where I'm trying to keep as much information and tools available. Oh, I didn't realize I have the a copy of the PSK importer and Unreal, the U model set. And I have that there because in the wiki, I'm also pulling in other guides from other modders and such. So, for example, this one is how to set up the correct weights, and that's Amaso, I believe, provided that. Yep. And then there's another one about creating USMs, and that was made by, bro, look at this. So if there's a good guide out there and I've tested it, I'm going to try to put it in here and try to consolidate the resources if we can find it. Right now, the Modding Zaibatsu Discord is a great resource for assistance and help for a lot of things. And as we're finding new stuff, bits and pieces here and there, trying to piece it all together, um, making guides and stuff um, can be difficult, and I usually try not to do too many guides or like to see too many guides too early on, only because the information isn't like set in stone, and you'll end up having like guides and such. But that being said, I do have some guides of my own that I'm keeping here for that. So there's how to set up F model in here with um, the mapping folders that you need. I'm working on stage modding. I'm still working through that. There's some basic stuff we can do in there that you can learn. Um, Not the details to actually build the stage, but how to kind of get set up to it. So we're not to that point yet. Um, I just haven't started messing with that. Uh, just some tips that I'm gonna put in here as I find stuff. Um, this is the basics setup um, for information. This doesn't really have a lot of info on here. I'm gonna have to make this one a little bit better. Um, but this starter's guide right here is gonna get you set up and get your Unreal Engine set up the way it should be. And so it's not finished, but I'm getting the process of doing that and figuring out a really good workflow. But regardless, what I'm going to do today is see if I can go ahead and get a character in. Everybody's been messing with the females recently, so let's go with DeviantArt. Let's see what's on DeviantArt. I'm picking up Brian for Tekken 8, so I feel let's see what we can do here. So look for some 3D models. I don't know what's out right now. XPS models are usually pretty decent. There's always females everywhere, but let's see if I can find something for guys. I'm not really sure what I want to do. Maybe, let's see, who would be a good character for big machine gun toting character? I don't know. Um, I don't know who that is. And I'm not a gamer, so I don't know who any. I'm just looking for someone who looks cool right now. Is really all I'm doing. It would be cool to see like Chainsaw Man as like Alyssa. I think that would be a great one. But we'll get to that. And I don't want to really do any physics right now. I'm going to do a non-physics type mod if I can. See who we got. Some Detroit guy. I don't know. Let's see. Some strong guy. A Chad. Is this a Chad? A Chad model? Is this a Giga Chad? Oh, I can buy the model. How much is he selling the model for? This is 20 bucks. Oh, do I want to pay 20 bucks for a Giga Chad? I mean, it's pretty solid, but I don't know if it's that solid. Looks pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of cool, but it's still, but props. That's not I would have, if it was free, I probably would have done it. Um, or if the quality was a little bit different, I probably would have done it. 3D models. Let's see, male. See if that gives me any. All the ladies pack. Everybody wants guys. I don't want just base meshes. These are like just base meshes. What's a character to use? Let's see. Let me look online. Let's see. Cool anime or cool male character that has a gun. I don't know. What kind of characters we got? There's this RPG guy. Um, Cable. Does Cable have a gun? Cable has a gun, right? Super villains who use guns. Isn't that Cable? Or Deadpool or Deadeye or whatever? No, what is his what's his name? Um Deathstroke. Yeah, let's see. 3D model. Let's look for Deathstroke. Alright, let's get a cool looking one though. DL Fortnite, Deathstroke. Yeah, let's go with it. Is this the model? Deathstroke was extracted and converted to XPS. So let's grab it. So let's go here to wherever I keep my stuff. TE projects, we'll say Brian, Death, Stroke, and we'll bring that in. Nice, very nice. All right, so let's get a base mesh for Brian. So I've got this one that I already did. I was working on the coloring it, so let's just grab this one as the base. So I have it here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna file save as, and I'm gonna save this one under this one. I'm gonna call this Brian Deathstroke. All right, and I don't need all this coloring and stuff here, but it works fine. So keep it. Let's go ahead and grab it. It should be downloaded. So let's go ahead and unzip it. All right, nice. So we got it unzipped. So let's take a look at it. And Deathstroke the Terminator and Deathstroke Sword. I don't know. We'll grab this Terminator one, I guess. Yeah, this guy. And we're looking for, oh, it's an FBX. All right, that's kind of cool. Normally when they do the XPS versions, they're not XBX, so that's a positive, I believe. So let's bring this in, import FBX, and I believe it's this one, and I'll just bring it in normally, I guess. I'll just set it to default settings. Let's see what happens. All right, and there's a little baby guy down there. So let's go ahead and scale him up. Zoop. Wow, that's not a, I don't like that. So let's move this back to view layer so I can see what's going on. So there we go. All right. So zooming up the guy. Let's fit him right in there. Boom. Wow, this fit is pretty nice. It's pretty solid. What I like to do when I'm fitting my characters for size is try to keep the crotch line at the same spot. So I gotta find the crotch line. So in this case, it's right here. And let's see, where is Brian's? Brian's looks to be about right here. So I try to keep the crotch line as my first thing. And the legs and the body, the main body looks to be pretty good. So I'm gonna move it over just a little bit. Try to get it nice and centered that way. All right, so that's kind of working out in my favor in that regard. All right, and yeah. All right, so it's what I'm gonna try to do is let's see, how do I want to do this? I might try like a very basic approach, and that is to just I want to get the shoulders like uh, And based on this approach, just do like a weight transfer. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do the head yet. So let's see what kind of, I'm gonna use L to see if there's any like sections that I can pull off. H. He doesn't really have a mouth, so that kind of makes it easy. I don't have to worry about that. All right, so we've got like the head gone. Oh, let's grab that and we'll grab this. And so that's pretty much like just the fit. And maybe I'll just do a fit mod right now. But I'm gonna hit A now that that's all separated. Oh, let's grab this part too and hide that. All right, so I'm gonna hit A and I'm just gonna separate this section. That way I've got the head and the body separated. Nice. All right, so now let's do some posing. I'm gonna get rid of this light. I don't need this light. Delete. Let's go and take a look at the bones. So I'm gonna highlight just the bones, and the bones seem pretty simple for this character, which is good. So let's go back, and I'm gonna turn the bones in the viewport section of the armature, change that to in front so I can see the bones. And I'm just gonna line up the character a little bit more. So we're gonna go into pose mode, and I'm gonna see if I can use the symmetry. The symmetry is all jacked up. Now, normally I wouldn't suggest doing this, but right now I want to, I'm gonna clear the bone roll. I'm not gonna be using the bones again, but when you clear the bone roll, it usually allows me to do, yep, there we go, symmetry just fine. And so what I'm gonna do is try to line this guy up a little bit, and I'm gonna switch this to normal, and I'm gonna go to the actual rotate tool, and then I'll grab the X so I can move it a little bit. And what I want to do is try to line up the elbows and stuff the way they're supposed to be. And let's see, that's the main part for the arm. Let's try to figure out which these need to get straightened out. All right, and hands always kind of suck a little bit. So we're gonna rotate. And if you just hit R, it'll just rotate based on your viewpoint, not necessarily the actual axis. All right, so I'm gonna hit S, and I believe X, nope, S and Z, nope, S and Y. So that's gonna scale out the bones. And so I'm just trying to get the hands in a decent place where I can start trying to like pose them the way they're supposed to be. And I want, let's see, I think this is the right bone. All right, I'm trying to get it so that I want the hand, the meat of the hand to kind of like be right there. And I'm gonna also switch this over to individual. So this should allow them to all kind of like roll up. And I'm gonna figure out what, all right, let's see, is it RZ? Yep, so we'll use RZ and we'll kind of bring those up. And I just want to get the fingers kind of in place. The tops of the fingers are all like whatever. So let's see, I might do something different for that. I'm just trying to rotate these. Let them, what is this? It's like a wrist bone. I'm gonna hide that for now. I think this is the actual hand bone. Yep. All right, so it's, and I like to hide bones that are not like major bones. So that way I don't get confused. All right. And this is not going to be a very clean version this way, but this will be like a quick get it done type of method. Let's see. All right, whatever. Let's do that. Now we've got the leg bones. All right, where are his leg bones? So I'm not sure what bone that is. I'm gonna hide that. What is this one? I don't think that's the right bone. What about this one? Here we go. There's our leg bones. Nice. So the legs look pretty solid here. Um, this cape here, this the extra hood, I don't want that influence of those weights, so I'm going to see if I can get rid of this a little bit. All right, so I don't want to get rid of all of it, so I'm just gonna hide everything except for this cape, and I'm going to essentially just grab and turn it on X-ray mode so I'll make sure I get it all. And I'm just grabbing the cape part and I'm gonna separate it because when I do the weight transfer, I don't want the cape, right? All right, so what are we working with? I'll turn it back to this. So I should have a Brian here. Um, okay, if I hide the bones for a second. Okay, so this is Brian. Let's get rid of these extra pieces that are flying around here. H and let's see. Are these all on the same material? I guess. So what I can do now is hit C and I hold shift and it will unselect all of this. There we go. All right. And let's go ahead and separate this stuff. Separate that. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this piece back and I'm gonna join this back to this so it's just all one piece. Oh, and let's see what we're working with. Okay. Um, so we're gonna oh, I think I'm getting rid of oh, this is the physics mesh, which I don't need, so I'm gonna hide that. This is the lower cape, so I know what it is. All right, this is the main body. There we go. All right, so that's the main body. Nice. So this I'm gonna separate or name it. So this is the head. So I can hide that for now. This is a sword, which I don't need right now. So we'll hide that, and then this is the main body there. All right, cool. So let's also take a look at the build for this. This is a MSL only mod. So there's only the MSL for this one. So let's see how this works. And then there's materials for this one, and there's not a lot of materials for the Deadpool guy. Let me go ahead and make sure only the right materials are on it. Cool. So he's got two materials here, and we could take a look at the materials. But let's go ahead and isolate them and take a look at what these materials are. Fortnites aren't really um, super crazy with detail, but we can change all that if we want to. But for now, let's just get it in. So if I look at this, I can say, okay, these are. Oh, I need to get that little thing out of there. Um, but we're just gonna try to put this body very rudimentarily, really ugly. Just put it into the game and get a material on it is the goal. So we got a normal map, which is just a basic normal map. It's not even a real like normal map. It's just a normal thing. So we're gonna create a normal map. Um, we got a color texture here, and then they have metallic set to 100 for both of these, and specular set to 100. I'm not a big fan of specular at 100, so I'm gonna make it 0. And then we got that's roughness at full, where you can make it more metallic. And I think I might want to make some changes to the metallic, but let's take a look at the UV real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead into edit mode, and let's see, all the UVs are all in one place, so that's kind of helps. Um, and what we can do is create like a new little map as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Shift D and I'm going to make a new one, and I'm going to call this one ID mesh. Right? And I'm going to hide that, and now I just got this ID mesh. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a whole bunch of materials, and they're just going to be very basic materials. I'm going to use just random colors for these, right? So my goal is to go over here and see what is like anything that's like something I can separate off, right? And where it's gonna look good. And I'm like, some of this stuff maybe. Let's see, we've got like this belt loop piece. So yeah, let's get that. And if I hit H to see how much of it it takes. All right, it's the whole thing. So let's make this belt loop piece with that green. All right, cool. What do we got here? We got this. We got metal pieces here. Oh, another thing that we can do, um, which might work out good, is I want these orange pieces to be have their own texture with them. So what I'm going to try to do is see if I can isolate that texture. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to hit Shift A, search, and I'm going to do a separate color. And we're going to separate the color. And I've got this red, and I'm going to kind of look and see what is kind of like split up here. All right, so red is probably going to give me the best bet of what I want. And I'm going to go to color ramp and throw color ramp on here. And now my goal is to isolate just parts of it. So by changing these values here, I'm trying to to isolate certain areas to have the color I want. All right. And this is a very crude way of doing it. It's probably not the best way of doing it, but it works for the most part. Right. So right now I'm having an issue because the belly area has a lot of shared colors in it. But let's say I just want to do it like that. It's still not the cleanest. Let's see. Let me change this to constant, see if that helps. And I'm not gonna get away with not including that mid section. So I could do a lot of painting myself to kind of to get all this done. Um, or I can use the UV maps a little bit to kind of help me. So let's see. I can see that there is, let's go ahead and take this off for now. It looks like there is some, oh, one of the things I'm going to do as well is I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go into faces. I'm going to say tries to quads and then make sure that I'm not losing my UV stuff, right? Because I don't want my UVs to get messed up. And that should help me with identifying loops a little bit. So here's this. And I'm also going to do something different. I'm going to grab, let's see, what is this? All right, so this part needs to get separated anyway. So let me go ahead and separate that selection out. I don't want that there. And where's his head? Oh, let's hide that stuff for now. Where is his head? So this piece needs to go back into his head. So join that. There we go. Nice. Let's hide these bones for a second. And let's see what we can do here. So we're going to go into edit mode again and see if I can grab like this part here. And let's switch this image so that we're using the correct texture. I think is it this one? Actually, I can just look here. This should be diffuse texture 2. Okay, cool. And so what I'm going to do is hit Control I and hide it. And so here we go. So let's take a look. So let's see. If I want just this metal stuff, is this all? And see, the metal stuff is not its own piece. So I could, if I wanted to, like cut into it, but I don't want to get too crazy with it. So this one would be a little bit harder to customize the way I want to, but there are other ways to go about this. So that's what I'm going to probably end up doing. So let's get normals. Let's get our normal set. There you go, because we're having some weird coloring spots. And what is that? All right, so I'm not going to mess with it those ways. There are ways that can work, but this one, because everything has already been like kind of like baked in, I can't really mess with it too much. So that's unfortunate. And so let me put this back to being the body. Oops. I'm going to select it and then switch it back to that part. Cool. So that being said, if I wanted to add a different like texture over something, I could. So let's grab this here. We'll grab this belt. And let's grab, is there a belt over here? Yeah, it looks like there's a belt. Grab this belt. Any more belts? There we go. We got belt, leather piece, leather piece. Some leather, leather. Oops. I'm just hitting L over these areas. This looks, oops, this belt does not look cooperative. I don't want to do that belt. I don't think these belts are going to work either. Nope. Um, okay, so we'll grab that part. I'm going to hit Control I, hit hide. So there's just these belt pieces right here. So let's see, what do I want to do? I'm going to, I'm going to see if I can create a mask here. So Shift A, search image, I'll make a texture. New, we'll make it like 22K, 2048. I'm gonna call this belt mask. So okay. All right, nice. So if I plug that in, it's gonna be all black. And if I go up to here, I can look up my belt mask, and I like to save it, even though there's nothing on it. So save as belt mask. All right, so I should be able to go into now texture paint mode, switch this to white, start painting on it. And the cool thing about it, when I paint like this, it's only going to paint on what I can see. And I believe I can paint through, maybe not. Normal fall off. Oh. All right, but I just want to paint everything that I can see at least. And it doesn't have to be like super clean. And the sharper the edges, the better. But ultimately, as long as the areas you want covered are white, then you're good. This is one of the ways that they can paint on different specular and roughnesses, and they don't have to just use a specific one. I could use like say a stencil brush to create like a grungy look if I wanted to. But I'm gonna use this to set a new normal map for this area. So I can take this uh, Fortnite model that has lost some of its detail and give new details to it. So I'm painting it all white, like so. Let's see if I can get as many pieces as I can. And I don't have to paint just here. I could go over here and paint as well. So if I switch this to image editor and set it to paint, I could go in and then just paint that area. Oops. I'm trying not to go outside of the edges. All right. And I'm going to change my fall off here to something that is a constant. So it's just a hard edge like that. Make this a little bit smaller. Now I can kind of paint in the areas that I might have missed. Right, like I'm not even sure what area this is. Right, like alright, so like actually I have no idea what part I'm missing. Okay, here we go. We got some stuff here. I don't even know. But for now, that's looking pretty solid. These pieces. And I don't really want to go too far outside of this line because um, this is a pretty dense UV map. And so I want to make sure the areas are correct. Okay, cool. So I can go ahead and save this, right? Save as. And we'll just save it as the belt mask. And now what I can do is I can use that mask for coloring and all kinds of stuff. So I'm plugging, let's go back out into edit mode, hit Alt H, bring everything back, right? And let's say I want to use this mask now. So now I've got my mask right here. All right, make sure it's loaded. Oop. And I'm going to use a mix node. Shift A, search mix. That's not what I want. Mix color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this as the basic color. Right, and I usually set this to 0 until I have that. And let's make this like red or something, right? So then I can just plug this into that section. And now all of those areas, let me turn off, I want to see the sharps. So clear sharp. All right. So all of the areas that are covered by the mask are now covered by here, which allows me to not only color this area however I want to, I can make it as a multiply, so it's like using that base color, like I said, as an overlay, completely replace it, whatever. Set it back to mix. So not only can I do that, I can also apply different normal maps to these areas as well. Let's say I want to change this chest plate area, right? So I can do the same thing. Let's grab the areas that have this design to them. I'm gonna hit Control I, hide everything else, right? And I'm gonna do the same thing, right? So I'm gonna make a new map. So we're gonna hit Shift A, search image texture. We'll say new. We'll call this one I don't know, chest mesh mask. Say okay. Cool. And we can do this one a little bit differently, right? So in this example, I just made them all white. In this example that I'm going to do here, we're going to do it just a little bit different. Let me go ahead and save this. Cancel. Image. Save. As. Okay, so in this example, what I want to do is I'm just going to kind of like paint the area in. And so I'm going to replace this here with this one, right? And if you replace it, you can see that nothing really changes in that because this is all black. And so what it's saying is that this whole black area is not going to get shown. But as soon as I put some white onto this map, you'll see. So let's go into texture paint mode. And I'm making sure that this is the active one. You can see by the white. And if I start painting, you can see that I've got that going on like that. So let's see if there's any. So what I'm going to do right now is see in edit mode what areas I can select to kind of like ease the issue, right? Like, okay, so I've got that. Look, those are already like kind of cut in. So what I'm going to do, or what my plan to do, is see how close I can get, on its own with the actual mesh, and then just do a white paint like I did before. And then once that is done, I'll go back in and touch it up manually. All right. And I'm guessing this whole plate arm, let's see something, Alt H. Yep, okay. So this whole arm is actually underneath of this section, so that actually works out really well. So let's keep grabbing these pieces. I'm gonna go into this mode, see if I can check it out. Okay. Let's get rid of that piece and that piece. It's kind of going over. All right, so this looks like the closest fit without having to do anything major. All right, Control I, hide. And now with this, I'm gonna go ahead and move over to texture paint, and the same thing. I'm gonna paint this whole area. Now, it's coming out as red because this color is red, but it's really just white. So I can make it whatever color I want to. So I'm just painting this. Paint, 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 paint. And if you have the base texture and you already know which areas you want, like in a Photoshop or something, whatever, you can just do it in there as well. Set different colors. But okay. All right, so this area looks to be pretty much fully painted. Nice. Alt H. Back in edit mode. Okay, cool. So I painted those areas, so now I gotta go in and paint this stuff by hand. And if you have a pen tool, that would be the best, but I do not have a pen tool. So I'm gonna do this. And if you go into your brush settings, mind my brush settings, you can go down to stroke, and you can turn on stabilize, and it kind of helps to make a more smooth line. Make sure my fall off is set to constant. Mm. And if this process is easier to do in like an editor, then I would suggest do that. In some cases, it probably would be easier because I could use like a pen tool to just, make some really strong, sharp lines. I'm just gonna hide these parts so I can paint this area better. And if this was like my design initially, all of these would probably be their own material anyways, and this process would be a lot easier. But if you're dealing with Second Life, Third Life, whatever, it's already been touched. In this case, this would be like Third Life. So it was created in the game, and then someone brought it out, and it looks like they consolidated the coloring. Um, and now I need to unconsolidate and put my own coloring into it. Okay, so there we go. And if I look at my white mask, here we go. We've got this. I don't know what this, so just hit black and get rid of that. And there we go. We have our stuff like that. And it looks like we got some areas I didn't want. So let's go ahead and paint those away. Make sure this is set to image, or this one's set to, where am I at? Yeah, image editor, set to paint. And why isn't it letting me paint? Okay. Oh, because I've got the stabilize on. Sometimes it doesn't like small moves. So we'll turn that off for a second and just manually hook it up. All right, there we go. It cleans that area. All right, so I can hit save as. And so now I'm gonna have this mask for this area, right? This is kind of cool. Um, yep, and then for whatever area you want to start like playing around with or masking, those are some of the ways that you go about doing it. So let's go back into edit mode, hit Alt H. I got my body here, and say, let's see, what do I want to do with this section, right? Do I want to make this, maybe I want to make it like glowy or something, right? So what I can do is I can, yeah, let's put this down and we'll put this into the emissive section, right? So now we've got that emissive. And right now we've got that set with an emissive as the emissive color. What we're going to do is use a mask instead. Shift A, mix, color. And I'm going to put this into the factor, right? And we're going to put this top part as black because I only want the bottom part to be shown. And I just want the regular color to come through but be glowy. All right, so now if I were to go into like a scene mode, you can see that that's shining. And I could change the emissive strength, make it whatever. If I wanted to add like a pulse glow to it, that'd be something I could do. If I wanted to add color on top of that, I could do that, right? I can blend in, let's use, say a multiply, and let's make it a different color, right? And we'll make it like that orange. I could change how orange I want it. And it's only affecting that area, not the rest of my mesh. All right, so I can have that glowy area, or I can make it all black. Or let's see, rather than emissive, let's change the shininess of it. So delete that. We're not going to mess with the emissive, keep that same. And so I've got, let's see, roughness, right? And there's no roughness really set to this thing. So we're going to go ahead and let's see, we'll take it, turn it all super shiny, right? But maybe I only want the chest super shiny. So let's make the whole thing not shiny at all, right? Or maybe like 0.5, right? Now let's take our mask for the chest area, which is right here. And I'm going to set the base level at 0.5. So let's go to here, I say 0.5. And we'll set this at 0, which is black. And we'll set this to roughness. And now that area is super rough. If I want it a little less rough, make it more metally, but not super metally. There we go. Cool. So now I got some nice crap going there. Using my mask. Yep. And let's set something else. So what do I do? The belt as well. So for the belt, let's get a new normal map. So I'm gonna hit Shift A, search image, and I'm gonna go, and Tekken 8 has some cool detail textures I can borrow from. In this detail map, it's in the characters item shared texture detail maps folder. And I think they have like a leathery, let's see, cotton, flecked, pop on. I think this might be kind of cool. So let's throw this in. And I should have a normal adjust node in here. And if you don't have it, you can grab it from my startup blend. Oh. And so you see that's going to get applied to the entire piece. But we don't want that. I also have a scale node, which essentially does this. So I can make change the scale of the actual texture. But I'm going to use my node. If I hit the right button, UV scale. All right, we'll set these both to be like, and really what I'm trying to do is get this belt to look good. And I think that looks pretty solid for the belt area. Let's make them both like 12. A nice cool belt like color. But I don't want the whole thing to have this on it. So we're going to use the mask to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Shift A and do a mix. And we're going to set this to a vector mix. And I'm going to use this mask instead. So let's bring this one down here. I can unplug all that for now. Let's just get this color in here. Oh. Oops, or is this the color? Did I take the wrong one? I did. Okay, so we're just putting this one into here. And this is the belt. This is the one I want. All right, so I got this. And this is going to be my mask. And so this is going to go into here. And this is going to go into, I have these backwards. So I want this one into the bottom. There we go. So now all the areas that I had set to use this are going to have that texture on them. So when I bake it all up, these are going to have these normals. This will have this. If I wanted to create like a brushed normal and I wanted to just keep layering on more stuff, I could do that. So I have, let's grab another one of these. So I'm going to just duplicate this setup here. And I'm going to put the mask on top. I'll duplicate this setup. But I think there's a brushed metal. Oh, brushed. Okay, we'll grab this. And essentially we're going to do the same thing. Make another one of those mixes. Grab this, plug it into there. And I want, and there's our metal, and it's all over everything. And we don't want that. We just want it on the chest. So let's see, here's my chest, the mask. We're gonna run that into here. And now it's just on the chest area, but it's all funky because I have to turn off that. All right, so now we got some brushed metal. Look, I can change how it's set. So let's set it back to 1. Oops. And maybe I just want it to be more along those lines. I can kind of like figure out how I want it. Right. And if I wanted to rotate it, I could. I can go in here and do some rotating, but I probably wouldn't use this for the rotation. I can also change the strength of that brush. And so let's make it a little bit less. We'll make it like 0.8. So it's there, but it's not the most prominent thing. And yeah, there's so many different things that you can do with the mask. So in Tekken 7 or Tekken 8, the coloring is also a big issue. Like I want to color these different areas, right? It kind of sucks right now because these colors are not easily separated. I'd have to kind of do some work to make those areas colorable, but it's not impossible. Um, so let's say, for example, I want to get a couple areas that I can color. So let's just see. Let's see what to do. All right, I think these top pieces, I might be able to get away with just coloring them like that. Like the boot pieces, right? Let's see what else would be associated with that. Probably, oh, I don't want that top part. Let's get the spikes. Oh no, we'll leave the spikes as their own colorable thing. About this part here. Okay, so all right, so we've got this area here. So let's go ahead and we'll set this as we'll give this a mask area. All right, so we're gonna hide it. It will do the same thing, but I can do it a little bit differently if I want to. I can go in here. I was gonna turn it into a material, but I'm not. I'm gonna leave this like this and just paint a mask for it. So let's go ahead and make a mask. New. We'll say color mask metal. Okay. Let's plug this in. Let's go ahead and paint. Oh, I'll set this to white. And paint. Some of the UVs are kind of like overlapped, so it works really well. So I'm just going to try to do a front, back, side, the other side, top, bottom. All right, and then just go in and try to clean up the pieces that I missed. Inside here aren't super important, but I don't know why that part doesn't want me to paint in it. The cool part about a mask is if for some reason you miss a part, you can just go back in and fix the mask, and then you're good. Or if you want to cut a part out, you just go back into the mask, and you do anything, and you haven't impacted your actual texture. All right, so all of these pieces look pretty well covered. All right. And you can't see anything here because the wrong mask is being selected. So let's go ahead and grab it. And so look, all that matches up. Yeah, like these areas, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. So I'm going to paint them most of the way. But like I said, I don't want to go over the lines too much. Um, if an area is not have like a UV area set to it, then what'll happen is uh, you can go all the lines all over you want to. It doesn't matter because what is this? Looks like a knee. That's probably the inside of the knee area. Um, like this area in between, like it doesn't matter if I go into it because it's not actually associated to a section on the mesh. So only the areas that are actually covered by these little lines are going to be painted. But if they're really close together, then it's very easy to have runoff, and now you've got a mask piece that is putting color or other stuff where it's not supposed to be. But if you're just like a little bit out of the lines, most good artists are going to leave some bleed room. So you shouldn't have to worry too much. And then a lot of times there's areas that aren't even really visible, but still need to have texture assigned to them. All right, clean those up a little bit. So I've got that mask. Let's go ahead and save that. Oh, let's see what else we got. All right. Plug this back in if I want to. And be like, all right, what else? I really want that orange, but I don't have a way to really clean up, get a really clean orange section. Let's see. Did I get this area? No. Um, let's try to get that area. That would be a nice area to work on. Trying to figure out what's the best way to select this area. Um, and it's really nice if the model kind of like follows along. Look at the areas cut out. Oops. And so I'm imagining they did something similar to this whenever they were doing Tekken 8 and they were bringing in like the older meshes, right? They're like, okay, let's take a look. What can we do to enhance what we already have, right? We're not going to rebuild everything from scratch, but we're going to go ahead and retopo some areas and retexture them and make sure they look nice and crispy for Tekken 8. And I think they did a really good job. Like if you compare the two, like say like a Tekken 6 outfit or something like that, directly to these new Tekken 8 outfits, you'd be like, damn. Like it's the exact same outfit, but it is definitely not the same outfit. All right, so we got that area. Let's see. Oh, got lucky on the inside. That's looking good too. Now, it'd have been nice if each of these were like their own material area, but the fact that the loops are cut makes this easy as well, easier. A lot of times they'll have like similar cuts, but it won't actually match up exactly. And it's like, ah, so close. But this one looks pretty solid. What was going on? All right. And one of the things you can do is like say you get an area and you're like, all right, ooh, that was a lot of work. I don't want to have to do that section again, especially if you're doing the faces. Is you can go ahead and just save a face map for it. I'll show you that in just a second here. I don't know how clean I'm gonna make it down here. Oh, this leg is like lower. I'm satisfied with that for now. And then up here, I think we are not. Oh, are we lucky? Okay, that's looking pretty solid. So in this case, we don't have that area, but that is fine. Another way that you could do this, and I might do it in just a second, is you can cut. So using the loops that I'm using right now for the topology, so for the selection, makes things a lot easier, right? I could just like kind of glide right over it. Um, and but then up here, like you see, like there's sections that are kind of like overlapping, and it's not really that clean. So once I do this bulk section here, see, I can. All right, so let's get rid of that. Oh no. Oh, I forgot to do what I wanted to do. So, okay, so so what happened is I stopped selecting the areas down here, and as a result, I must have hit a button, so I wasn't still like continuously selecting. And I'm gonna hit Control Z because I don't want to do that whole bottom section. But hopefully it'll. There we go. We're back to the selection area. So you can hit Control Z to go backwards and Control um, Shift Z to move back forwards again. So I'm gonna finish this section here, and then I'm gonna save this group. All right, so I got this. All right, let's grab. I think I could move that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over here into what is it called? Data object area, and I'm gonna go down to face mask and make a new one. Let's say assign. Right, that way I can select that face mask again, and we're good. Now I can go select other stuff. Okay, so for like this example, let's go ahead and cut it. And it's not going to affect any of the weights or anything. Um, but so we're going to go into here, we're going to the knife tool, and I'm just going to kind of do my best to cut out this section. Oops. Then hit enter. And then what it does is make sure that there's a line there, right? I'll use that line whenever I'm doing this stuff. All right, just go around. And this isn't the cleanest version of it because I'm not getting paid for this or anything. This is just a demo. But this will show you guys like kind of how to do it as well. All right. And it doesn't have to go the whole way around. Um, okay, so now whenever I'm doing my selection, you can see like it'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Now that area becomes a lot easier to select. And then also what I could also do is because this actual mesh that I'm working with is not my mesh that I would be using. I can cut it all the way I want to, as long as I'm not making any substantial changes to the UV maps. Um, I can bake everything and do whatever and then apply it all to my original that doesn't have any of these cuts in it, and everything will be fantastic. Oops. And another thing, let's see, another thing I can do is, okay, so I didn't clean up this side. Oh, maybe I did. Okay, oh, that part is done. And I don't know. Okay, that's actually looking pretty solid right there. And I could go in and assign that material to that section as well, right? And be like, okay, did it cut everything that I wanted it to? I'm like, no, I think I can do better. So now I can go back in with my knife tool and be like, all right, see that part right there? I think that cut too much. Go ahead and put it back to the body, right? And be like, all right, go in with my knife tool, grab say this piece right here. Now let's get that like that. Say like that. That. Bam. Now if I select those areas, oops, and it's not necessarily the best way to go about doing it, but it works. Okay, cool. So now that that section is done, well, is it? Yep, it's done. Okay, cool. So I can go ahead and select it if I want to. Let's go ahead and turn it back onto the regular body piece. Let's make sure that section is also part of the face mask. All right, so if I hit select, it should just be those pieces. All right, cool. Um, let's go ahead and make a mask for this area. All right, what is this? That's that, whatever. Shift A search. Come on. All right, we're gonna do the same thing. Control I, hide it. So all of these areas are what I want. We'll say, I don't know, color mask 2. I don't know. And the same thing. Let's paint. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Nice. Okay, so let's say, so in this case, we don't have a color map. There's no color ID. It's just one color. That's all I have to work with, right? I've got this base thing here, right? Let's go ahead and go back to edit mode. All right, I've got this whole thing here. I've added some cool changes to it. I want to add some color changes to it. Um, I can do that in Blender, but ultimately I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do that in Tekken 8. Right? So I've got some normal maps. It's easy. I can bake those out. I've got some color areas that I want to start messing with as well. So let's go. I'm going to go into here, Shift A, search image. I'm going to do hue. And what I want to do is turn the saturation off for that for right now. And let's start mixing in some colors. So, oops, I hit mute. So if you hold it and hit M, it'll mute it, like kind of turn it off for a second. Disable it, so to speak. So we've got this color for metal. So I'm going to put that there. We're going to put this at the top part, and then this will be whatever changes. So let's go ahead and plug that in. So now we've got metal, and we're going to set it as, like, say, an overlay versus covering it. So now we've got that metal tint to it. So now we can change that to whatever we want on those lines. Let's see, maybe multiply would be better. Yep, I'm kind of like multiply. It's not super clean with regard to allows us to have that colorization option. Let's see, and then I have this section, I believe, for color mask 2. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. Put Shift D, and we'll plug this one into the factor. And we'll make this part whatever color we want to here, right? And so we've got, well, whatever. All right, so we've got that color going on for that section. That's looking pretty solid. And say that's it. That's the only coloring areas that I want to have in this. Or actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to grab the other mask that we have here. We've got chest mask color. So we're going to bring that up. So let's add that one to the mix. And we'll bring this into the mask area. And now we've got that. We can make it like gold colored, right? Let's bring this color over here. Give it a little. Let's bring this color back over here, like this. All right, so whatever. So we got that going on. And then we have a belt. We can change the belt as well if I want to make the belt a color area. So let's see, where's my belt mask? It's right here. Copy it, bring it over here. Is that my belt mask? Um, we're gonna make this a mix. There we go. But maybe we'll not make a mix. Maybe an overlay. Yeah, I think overlay works a lot better for the color. Nice brown to it. All right, cool. And then also, I don't want. I need the colors that already exist to remain, right? So that's another one. Like shit, I don't want to lose all of these colors, right? I don't that are in my base piece, right? That doesn't make any sense. So I should be able to grab this one and oops, I keep doing that. I want this. See, it's not coming through the way I want to. Like I've got one or the other, which is kind of cool, but not what I want. What I want is to have the other ones underneath. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do some math, right? So I'm gonna use a math node, and I should be able to essentially add all of these together, right? So I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna add this, and then this. I'm gonna add this, add this. Kind of make one big mask, right? That's the goal. So then plug this into here. Okay, so all the areas that are white should be the areas that get colored, right? And so here, what I will then have is this and this. There we go. So the original colors are still coming through, and the new colors are editable. And that's the ultimate end goal, right? But how do I make this whole setup something I can use in Tekken 8? Because right now, I don't know what am I gonna do? How do I do that? It looks great here. You know what I mean? I don't know if you like the same colors I do, but it looks great here. Change. Set that back to 0. Actually, I want. I'm gonna make change the saturation of the base colors a little bit. Kind of pop more in line. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so I need to get all of my masks together, right? Because these masks are getting crazy. So there's a couple of ways that I can do that, right? So I have a node that kind of helps with it, so I'll kind of use that method first. All right, they're set. I got all my masks set, but they're all black and whites, and I need to get them um, set to a different color, right? So I'm going to Let's do this. We're going to set up another mix node tree, I guess, chain. So Shift A, search mix. Shift A, search mix color. Okay, so we're gonna set up this chain up here, right? And it's essentially gonna be the same thing, right? But we're gonna put this one in this factor, and I'm gonna set this to black. I'm gonna set this one to, I will say this to red, full red. Okay, I'm gonna plug it real quick just so I can duplicate it with a 0. And I have what, 1, 2, 3, and essentially 4 different um things. So I'm gonna set this one here, and I'll set this one here, and this needs to get plugged into the top. Chain them all through. It's essentially the same thing that I'm doing down below, except now I'm kind of setting up like setting it up as like a material mask. And I'm making these all like the major colors that I'll be working with. How many do I have? Oh wait, this is the metal color. This one, belt mask. All right, if I plug this to here, all right, everything's colored. All right, and then we have the black areas. All right. Um, and I think this would be, I think this would technically be a don't color. Invert. Okay. Yep. All right, so that would be essentially a don't color. So this would give me an ID mask for all of the areas that I have set, right? But Tekken doesn't really use ID masks in this tech format either. But what I can do now is I can go ahead and let's go ahead and hit select. Oh, so let's go back into here. Let's remove unnecessary materials. Okay, cool. So we got one material. I'm gonna go ahead and bake this, right? Text tools, bake it. I'll select it, then bake it. Okay, so it does this every once in a while, and I don't understand why. And it gives me like no color, right? If I'll go to diffuse and do it, I usually am fine. Okay, that's not working either. So, in the last resort, normally I just have to bake it to an emissive. That's so far away. All right, let's try that one. Okay, yep, an emissive works. I don't understand. Emissive like will bake whatever you want, but everything else is like hit or miss. Sometimes it'll cooperate, sometimes it won't. Okay, so if I bake this, right, I have this new color map where all of these different ones are set. Um, so that's one. It's good to just have one of those available. But for Tekken, um, they do it differently, right? So there's different hues that are associated with the stuff. So what I would normally do now is decide, let's say, how do I want to do this, right? So let's make, since this is a don't color section, I'm gonna make this uh, blue. And we'll make this a RGB A, but we'll make it two for red, one for green, and one for blue. Or two for red, one for green, one for blue, one for alpha. All right. So, I mean, because they don't use purples and pinks and all that stuff. So if we want to do that, instead of using red and green, I'm going to have to do something a little bit different. So let's see. All right. I'm going to have to use a combine. And I'm working on some nodes to make this whole process a lot easier. But I'm just not completely there yet. So in this case, I'm going to put this to full white, right? And I'm going to put this one to, and ultimately this is going to go, this one's going to plug into, I guess, emissive, since the color's not working. Hey, you. Let me just bring it closer, plug it in. All right, and I'm going to unplug this one for now. Go up top here. Okay, so I'm going to set this one to go here. Oh, you know what? I don't want to do emissive right now. It looks weird. Okay, so we've got that one set to full red. And let's set this one at, I think 0.212 is where I want it to be. So we'll set this one to white, and it's let's say value 0.212, right? And okay, so those areas are both that. And then say I just want this one to go into green. And this is going to be full white. And this one is going into blue. And this will also be full white. Should be how it is. Um, and alpha's a little bit trickier to mess with. So instead of making this one, let's do this one. Let's see. We'll make this one 0.212. Right. And mix. Oh, and this should not be like that. And this should not be like that. And then this one can be like this though. Okay, so it gives me two blues. This one, I should actually be able to just go from here. There we go, nice. Okay, so to explain what's happening is I'm still using the mixed colors, but I'm splitting them up into channel, right? So I've got these two masks are now being using two different values of white, and that's going to give me uh, two different values of red because they're being mixed and put in the red channel. For the green channel, I just have one. For the blue channel, I have two, right? So one and two, and going through. Now there's based on it, they're doing it mathematically, and I have to figure out the exact values that should be used. But whenever I would do a split channel for this particular ID map, this would be an RGBA, so it would be 2120. And based on that split channel, it tells the material which shades to go for and grab. So if you put um, a different value in here that's not one of the ones that it's looking for, then it may or may not pick it up and you'll have like a weird result. But if I were going to go ahead and bake this now, let's go ahead and pull this down into just anything for a second. Oh, I got it. Nice. I can put this down into emission and say I don't want to see it in the emissive. I can just set my emissive to 0 and now it just looks normal. And then I can still bake the full emissive value. And so now we have a ID map that looks a lot more like what I'll see in Tekka. So let's go ahead and save this and just call it ID mesh, whatever, say T8. All right, so that's super, and I need to bake my other maps. So the other maps that we need to bake is we need typically an RMA, so it's a roughness, material, and ambient occlusion, but I don't have an ambient occlusion, so I'm going to use my nodes that I created. So I got nodes here called bake, RMA bake, right? Do I have an RMA bake? I don't have an RMA bake. Okay, that's whatever. I guess I'll make one. It's pretty simple. Basically, I want my roughness, metallic, and ambient occlusion all combined into one map. So rather than separate color, we're going to go ahead and combine color. And let's see, do I have a roughness map? And let's see, what do I have? I do. I have this roughness right here. So let's grab this and plug it into the R, which is the first letter, green. Metallic, do I have metallic set for anything? I have metallic set to full. So if that's the case, if my metallic is just set to full, I'll just set this to 1. Um, and then ambient occlusion is set to white, I believe. White for full white ambient occlusion means that there's no shadow being added to it. All right, cool. And since emissive is the only one that's really cooperating with me right now, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it into emissive, bake it up, and there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save as, and we'll call this one RMA. So now I got a custom RMA. Normal map is fine. I do need to bake it because I have different things added to it. And I'm going to bake the normal map at a higher resolution. Now the thing to note is that if you bake it in Blender, it's most likely going to bake out as an OpenGL map, so you'll need to flip the normal when you bring it over into Unreal Engine. Come on, bake, bro. All right, an OBD map is pretty simple as well. I think I have an OBD bake, but you can make your own dirt map as well. Here, So let's say I want to make a texture. Shift A, search, yeah, texture. And let's grab like a noise map, right? Okay. And we're gonna change the scale. There we go. We got a bunch of whatever. All right. So now we got that going on. So all the white part is going to be your dirt map in this case. We're gonna go ahead and add some distortion. And let's go ahead and I think I can compound it a bit. But not like that. I don't do it like that. Alright, so let's get color ramp. It's gonna help us isolate some of these colors out a little bit more. Alright. Okay, and that's still a lot of dirt, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna use I'm gonna hit if you got Node Wrangler, hit Control T to get a texture coordinate. And I like to use UV instead of generated. Alright, and now let's kind of like stretch this out a little bit. Let's see what kind of texture. I got a gradient texture. Well, Voronoi. Oh, let's see what we got here. I don't know what this one's doing. Oh, I guess I gotta actually plug it in. Man, well, I was gonna try to make my own grunge pattern, but I don't think it's coming out the way I want it to. So let's see, I will throw this into here. Put this one into here, I guess. Let me just try to find a grunge. Free grunge texture. Oh, it's gonna be another one of those download freeze, but sign up for a million advertisements. Um, let's see. I don't know if there's a base. See if there's a dirt texture in the game. Most likely there is. Dirt. Face dirt, hand dirt. I don't think this is what I want. But, you know what? That might actually work. There we go, face dirt. I don't like that because it's already set. I just need, here we go, dirt mask. There we go, this is what I need. Suburbs pack. What is this one? Yeah, this is the one I want. Dirt mask one. No way I can make my own dirty mask. So copy and shift a search image. Open. Bam. What? Why did it not open my dirt mask? Okay, what did I plug into that I wasn't supposed to? That goes there. Alright, let's get rid of this rudimentary dirt mask and we'll throw this one in. Bam, look at that dirt. I like it. Okay, so to make my dirt mask, I need opacity. So it's gonna be the same thing. So it'll be like a combined color. So we'll combine color. And dirt will go into the last one. And green has just been 0 in all the ones that I've seen. And then opacity, we're gonna keep as 1. All right. And if I plug this into here, this is what my dirt mask OPD map will look like. So let's plug it into emissive. Right, and let's go ahead and bake it. Bucket. And I'm baking it at 4K, even though I don't need it at 4K. But there we go. Image. Save as. Or OBD. And if I want to use a TSE, it'd be a similar situation. So it's going to be translucent, which for me is going to be 0 because I don't have any translucency. I also don't have any emission. I would only have specular. And right now I'm going to run specular. I'm running specular at 0, but we'll keep it at something. So it'll be like 0.200. All right, so it's pretty much just that. That's it. So let's go ahead and bake that one. All right, so image, save as, and this is where like people would love to have fully custom material, so they don't have to do this. They can just bring it in however way they want to. Just live their life, you know, not have to worry about any of this adjustments or remasking or any of that crap. Um, okay. And I think one of the issues I'm going to have to worry about is how I'm going to set up the the coloring parts that I don't want colored. All right, I've got my mask set up for that for the most part. Like the dark blue area is going to be a no color section, but I need the hue to be desaturated in that section, and I don't know how to control that yet. So I'm going to have to create something. Or I'll just use a regular, just color mask over for now, as I think about it. But okay, I think that's all the major masks. All right, OBD. We got ID, TSE, OBD, RMA, normal. Nice. Nice. All right, so that's probably the easy part. You know, I was trying to delay getting to the annoying part. But let's go. All right, so we're gonna do a very basic version right now. We're just gonna do a swap, like a character swap, or like a weight swap, right? So this is my thing with the bones. I don't really need it. I don't really care. Um, Also, what I'm gonna do is create a backup. So all of this stuff is still in good. Everything's working in good form. I don't want to lose it. So I need to make sure I'm protecting it. So I'm gonna hit M to create a new collection. I'll say OG custom. And that puts all of that, or should put all of that to that folder. All right, cool. And now I'll make a new one. We'll call this one OGT8. And all of the TA stuff. I'm gonna go in there. That way I can turn these on and off. See what's happening. All right, look at this head. Whatever. For this, I'm going to go ahead and make a new material. All right, I'm gonna hit Shift D. I'm gonna call this main body OM. Why is that still there? What is this? This. Let's delete that one for a second. There's the head. CID mesh. This was the main body. Okay. Just going to delete that because it should already be in here, but there's no mouse, so there's no point. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and hit Shift D to this version. Boom, 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 boom. OM. And what I'm going to do is make sure I don't have any extra shits on there. Delete that, hit new. Because MI death stroke main body. Okay, so let's go. Oh, I didn't want to open up another one. Okay, so I want to grab my ID map. I want to grab my blood on this one, and I guess I need to grab this one. Oh, look, it's got an ID map. What? It already had an ID map in this version? Oh, I should have looked further. Actually, sorry, so let's take a look at this ID map since I have it. In fact, you know what? Yeah, let's see. So we've got this one. Let's take all these maps out here and see. I might need to redo this. What is this? Is this for... It's for its Grim. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. What is this? Okay. So there's an ID map. That works pretty solid. And this one's all the colors I need it to be, for the most part. So that works amazing. Let's see, we got a normal map. Let's plug it in. It's okay. I wonder if I can combine this normal map and my normal map together. Um, is this metallic? What is this? Okay, so let's separate these colors and see what's going on here. Separate. Okay, so it looks like that's definitely an ambient occlusion map. And this, I'm not, well, this might be a roughness. And this is a nothing. So I'm gonna say that this is an AO map right here. And this is a roughness map. Let's take a look. And this is my ID map. And what is this? This is my... This is color. And this is specular. But is it packed? Oh, and make sure to set the channel. Alright, so let's see what we're working with here. What is this? This might be a specular map right here. Yeah, I think that's a specular map. What's this one? This one is definitely a metallic metal map for sure. I'll throw you in there. And this one, is this a roughness map? Hmm, I'm not sure. I'm gonna say this one looks a lot like a specular map. I want to say, but this one is a roughness map. It does kind of fit, but what is this one then? Well, that's an AO. And what is this one? This one, I am not sure. I want to say this one looks like an AO map. If that's an AO map, all right, so what is this one? Or this one's an AO map. Or both of them are an AO map. I mean, this one definitely looks like an AO map. I mean, maybe it's a full AO map. It doesn't seem to be the case. Well, it's definitely not a roughness map. And it doesn't look like a specular map either. I mean, maybe it's a color map. That doesn't necessarily make sense either. All right, so let's run this through the AO. Right. Okay, we'll run this like a deuce. Oops, this goes here. Oh, this goes here. What is this? Isn't this the color? Go in there. I mean, that looks solid. I think my normal map is backwards though. So, oh yeah, that looks a lot better. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure what they did in that first version then. It jacked it all up in their efforts to combine it, I guess. Lost a lot of detail. What happens if I add a subdiv to this thing? Is it noticeably better? It's a little bit better. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is the way it was supposed to look. And then here's the map, I guess, or the says the effects, but it doesn't make any sense either. Shift A search. Mix the colors. Oh, let's separate. Shift A separate. Okay, so we've got And so what I'm doing is I'm isolating the colors. Boom, boom. There you. Let's stick a little close. Alright, so it looks like we got two reds. Green looks like there's just one. Then blue only has one. And alpha doesn't have any. Okay, cool. This one actually goes here. Hmm. So I mean, it's got the different colors here, but it doesn't. How to do the same thing, I believe. Um, I need. I guess I could do. Add. Oops. Math. Maybe I'll do it like this. I say so. Basically, I want this one, no saturation. Um, so I need this to be um it's like a normalize option. Oh, that's not what I want. I don't know why the hmm. Wait, why? Wait, interesting. Oh man, I always get sidetracked on this stuff here. All right, so the next thing I gotta do is just put this on a character and come back and mess with this stuff pretty much anytime. All right, so what is the way that everyone does it now or whatever? There's so one of the easiest ways is hold on, make sure your all your pieces are available also in view. So Alt H, bring everything back in. Hit A, Control A, all transforms. That way, every position, all the positions and such are applied. You can go ahead and hide whatever you don't want to see right now. But so basically, right now I've got this body here that I want to use, and then I've got the main body for Brian right here, right? And the hands aren't messed. The hands aren't together. They're all jacked up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a swap, right? I'm just going to take these weights and put them over here. So the easiest way to do that is just to, one, you should clear these weights out. So I'm going to do that. So all the groups, no groups left on it. Boom, hit that. And there's still issues probably with like the shoulder area and stuff that I could fix. Um, and I'm just gonna do a very basic. Oh wait, where? This is the one I want, right? Stuff is in line for the most part. Okay, cool. So they're lined up pretty well. So we're gonna click on Brian's body. Oh no, I did the wrong body. Shitness. Hit Control Z a bunch of times. And hopefully I can get back to I got rid of the wrong. I mean I could just grab a new mesh, but I'd rather not. So I wasn't thinking and I cleared the the vertex weights off of the wrong thing. Hopefully, all right, here we go. Let's go. All right, let's go back. So this is the one I'm. Oh my goodness, what's it doing? All right, so I'm gonna grab this. Right, I'm gonna hit parent. Well, let's go ahead and make a copy of it. I make copies all the time. Well, if my system doesn't jack up. Okay, there's my copy. I'm gonna go ahead and clear the parent. Okay, so I made some changes to the pose, so I want to go ahead and keep those. So I'm gonna hit Shift E again. Right, and then right click so that I don't hold that. And now I'm going to go to Object, Convert to Mesh, or you can just apply the pose. So I can go over here and apply. Yeah, let's turn this off right now. And let's apply the pose. Just say apply. And now when I clear the parent, it should stay its shape. All right, nice. And I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to bring it down into this folder here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and just parent it to these bones. All right, so we'll just right click, parent, armature deform. There's no weights or anything right now. So now let's grab our mesh here. That's the Brian. And now I'm going to hold control and click on the custom mesh. You hold shift when you're in the 3D viewport and control when you're in the outliner. All right. And, oh man, what am I doing? I hit the wrong window. Okay, so now let's go to weight paint. And I should go to weight. All right, hold on. I don't think I cleared the weights. Okay, so this time make sure I clear the weights from the right body. Okay, so this is the body I want to clear the weights from, right? Yes. Delete all groups. And this one, I still have all. Nice. So let's go here, then here, oops, here, then here. And then I use nearest face interpolated. And I don't know, I set this like 100. I set that to name. And so now what should have happened is that all the weights that were on the Tekken mesh should now be on this one. So if I grab these and move them around, they all move. All right, so let's change. There we go. So, I mean, will it be the best? Probably not. But it should work, right? That's all I'm really looking for. And there's going to be issues with weighting the legs and stuff like that that will need to get fixed. And I could fix all that now, but I'm not going to. Okay, cool. So now I've got this guy and I've got this. I think it's like one material or something. We got one material. We got this bad boy here. Um, let's see. Let me see if I want to remake any of these. I kind of like the way this one looks. I'm not sure about how well this mask is going to work. I also like the other mask as well. So let's. Okay, so I'm going to switch it for a second just to see. We're going to assign it to this bad boy right there. Nice. And now what I never did do it is cook um or bake. Because how I had this set up. I had this set up. So I thought, what did I figure that to be? Okay, so this is the fully saturated version. And then this one should be, I, this one. And then this should be the factor, I think. That's not it. Maybe this. Why is that purple? Why is it purple? Are these backwards? There we go. These are what I want. What? What do you mean is it broken? An error? What are you talking about? I broke it? How did I break it? I broke it. I broke it. That's crazy. I'm really good at breaking things. I can't. I hate how the fucking things don't come stay up for very long. What did I do? Ah. Hi. All right, whatever. Forget it for now. I'll get materials later. Okay, so but for now I have this. And where's this guy? All right, so worst case scenario, I'll just bake this into whatever. Okay, cool, cool. So I've got this. Let's go ahead and save it. And let's get this out of the game. So I've brought it in at full size. I just need to make sure I send it out. 0.01. Set this to centimeters. All right. All right. And all of that just to export it. Export it. Yeah. Man, I gotta not get sidetracked. Oh, I just pulled a muscle of mine. Speaking of which, let's see what's going on in the Discord. All right, no private messages. Cool. Stages. Here we go. What's going on? What we got going on? What the fuck is happening? Why's all my shit shutting down? What Grammarly? What's just a recording? Okay. Why is Grammarly canceled? I don't need Grammarly working. Get out of here, Grammarly. Blueprints are in the map, not loaded. I don't understand this, boy. Shit. Alright. Yeah, I'm not jumping back into stages anymore. I'm gonna let them handle that for a while. I found what I could find. What kind of that glove needs to go on her hand? Interesting. Request. What are people requesting? Bishu Asuka in June. It's in the releases section. This is releases requests. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Well, that body build is kind of crazy for this one. Interesting. It probably wouldn't be too hard. I think is there braid hair in the game? I mean, it's just some long heels and some hairs. Oh, did I start? Shit. All right, I'm taking a break.